So, what's up, London town, surrounding counties and countries across the world? You are back in tune with Look Who's Talking Now for another fun-packed episode. I am the man affectionately known as the Captain.
I am Killer C, aka the Killer Cavs, Trini C.
And I'm the Prince.
That's right. All right. So we're going to break you off with some nice little topics today. The first one we're kicking off with, as it is the first today, is Black History Month. So I'm just going to open it up to you, man, and just try and get your thoughts on this whole thing that is Black History Month. I've got my thoughts, but what you man, you know what I'm saying?
I'll let Clint, you can take to the floor.
Okay, then, this is a controversial one. Now, I love my peoples, everybody know that, yeah. But with Black History Month, I think there's something not right about it.
What?
I can't put my finger on it, but what I think is like, why Black History Month? That's what I keep asking myself. Why not any other history month? Why not Indian History Month?
Yes.
Asian History Month?
Yeah.
Why not Latino History Month?
Yes.
European History Month? Why Black History Month? You see, this is where, for me, this is where it gets a little bit deep. I think it's a bit of a tokenization from the system.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a bit tokenization from the system. I think it's guilt. A little bit of like societal guilt, and it's just like, you know what? Yeah, we've effed them off so bad in society in the last 200 years. Let's give them
this thing.
You know what I mean?
But saying that, the whole thing began, I don't know what year it was, years ago, and it was Negro Week, and it was actually created by a black man to raise awareness. It was more around Afro-American culture, but I think maybe back then when it started, it was pure.
Yeah.
And maybe now, like you mentioned earlier, the corporation and is using it as a tick box exercise.
That's the thing that for me that I find frustrating, because a lot, not just corporations, brands,
Yeah.
like influencers, celebrities, everyone's trying to ensure they're politically correct nowadays.
That's
right. So they will use an event, a cause, a movement, or even something as big as Black History Month. They'll have an opinion on it, but what's the output of it, right? My concern, I've always, whether it's organisations that I've worked in or whatever, people always want to tick a box and say, yeah, we did a Black History Month event. Okay, I get that. You're raising the profile of Black History Month, but what are you doing to help black people?
Empower
what are you
them.
doing to empower black people? How are you impacting society for black people? Right?
Yeah.
Don't just say, yeah, we did a Black History Month event where we had the only black person in the organisation come and talk about their career for 5 minutes.
That's right.
Right,
and I find as well the message often gets diluted, is what I've seen. People try and piggyback off it and try and dilute the message. And also, for me personally, I've seen people get confused as to, when you say Black history, what it actually is. Some people want to just go on about slavery or the struggle. But to me, that's a shared history, a shared struggle, right? Black history is a completely different thing altogether. And you're right, I kind of feel you there. It's kind of pigeonholed into this 1 month. You might as well just say, it's like Christmas. Christmas come, everyone's into it. Soon as January come, done.
That's a good, yeah.
You see what I mean? And it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. And exactly what you've just said.
And I want to touch up on what you said about, like, the only thing about Black History Month is us sort of, like, being, what's the word, like, how to put it? I don't want to sound too controversial, you know what I'm saying?
Put it out there.
But it's like we're always the victim.
Yes.
It's always about, this slave who invented this or that. They never tell you about Mensa Musa.
Yeah.
Who had, who was actually the richest man in whatever century it was.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Right. This guy literally messed up the price of gold in the Middle Ages. Remember that period? You know what I mean? They don't tell you about that.
No.
They don't tell you about, like, for example, the Zand Rebellion. That's like, I'm going to bed deep here.
Yeah, no,
that's like, during the Islamic sort of conquest in Baghdad, like they had like slaves and stuff like that. And it's like the only sort of slave rebellion in a place like, like the Middle East, where it was really hard at the time. You know what I'm saying? They don't tell you about these things. They don't tell you about the black people who for example, the girl. I think they made a movie about it. The ladies who actually helped with the mathematics.
That's right. The
the
figures,
NASA.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
hidden
NASA.
figures. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah, it's the empowering stuff that you want to see because, like you say, it's like I think that beating white people over the head with the white guilt, slavery. We know this now. Now we need to shift the focus from that. That's another thing. And like you're saying about being a victim, I'm not trying to. That doesn't inspire me. It's like I remember talking to my sister, and I don't know. I think the film was kind of going a bit off piste here, but that film, 12 Years a Slave,
Yeah.
and it disturbed me so much. I just couldn't see it through.
To be honest, that film,
It really, and I thought, I don't feel like I'm getting anything from this. It just drained me mentally. Whereas things like Hidden Figures, like you said, that stuff inspired me. It's empowering because I didn't know.
And I think this goes back to whole Black History Month and what?
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Okay,
it. That's
and
it.
what?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? Are we celebrating black people of power, black people of knowledge? Are we celebrating great sports? Whether it's how many black footballers there are in the England team, how many black people are benefiting their society, how many of them are becoming people of it's not necessarily celebrity but influence, what they've achieved.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the unsung heroes.
And I think that's for me, as like an outsider, someone who's not within the black community, I'm thinking, what's the benefit of this?
Exactly.
Like, okay, you're right. There is this whole. Let's talk about slavery again. Right?
It's done.
People
just ruminating about sort of like negative events when they can actually sort of like set up certain things for the future. Like, like Black History Month 2021, we're going to set up the first, African like museum in London or something along those lines to leave a legacy
something
or whatever like that. Or we're gonna go into like Lagos or something because they're really clever with, like in Nigeria they're really clever with computers and all that stuff. Let's go and invest in those kind of things.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But it's just
things to keep you thinking after that month is done. And this is my point. It's not just people. I suppose they're going to do a piece on jerk chicken or do a bit on some jollof rice or whatever, and that's it. But like you say, there needs to be something more. So even when Black History Month's done, like, oh shit, but they did mention that this museum has been opened or something's happened, and your interest still stays piqued, even though outside of October, outside of the month.
See, the bit that I find it lacks like a process, it lacks an actual framework for some form of benefit, right? You'll have, don't get me wrong, I think it's great that people like BBC One Extra will do like, it's Black History Month, so what we're going to do, we're going to talk about a specific topic. But going back to your whole empowering or even bringing out the good in history,
yes,
I personally, do many people know about Haile Selassie?
No, I don't think they do. They probably know
Do
the
people
name.
know about black emperors? Do people know about black kingdoms?
Exactly.
Do people know about?
This is
what
my
I mean.
point.
But that's the history that I'm talking about.
But that's the real history.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Not the shared history.
And this is the point.
Yeah.
So we are taught history from the textbooks of Europeans
Yes.
that want to show the legacy of European powers, the Romans, the British
Greeks.
Empire, the Greeks.
Yes.
Like I'm Persian background. My dad always says, "Well, they never teach you the Persian Empire at school."
No.
I was like, yeah, well, why the fuck do they care about someone in the Middle
that's
East
it,
who like tried to be diplomatic?
Exactly.
Whereas they will talk about the Romans did this, the Greeks did that, the Greeks destroyed the Persians, and then the Romans came, and then the British destroyed everyone, and that's the end of history.
Yeah, that's it. It's done. There's nothing else to tell. There's nothing else to tell. There was nothing before that.
Yeah, and
there was.
And also the weird thing is, like, I feel that coming back to history, we sometimes in like British education system they do touch on the Egyptians, but then there's nothing before that. They don't talk about, okay, well, that's part of Africa, right? What about the rest of African history? What about the untold stories of other kingdoms, of tribes within those areas? Because
which predated.
that, I think that is the bit where if you really want to celebrate Black history.
That's right.
You go
That's
right
Exactly.
back to
That-
history.
thank you.
Yes.
Black history.
History.
That's actually
right.
what it is.
Don't tell
what
me
it
about
is.
Jay-Z is a really successful
Yeah, yeah,
rapper.
yeah.
That's
He's
what I'm
black.
saying.
I know.
But this is what it's turned into.
Yeah.
People have kind of lost
Yeah.
what if, as I said in the beginning, when it was Negro Week, and that guy
Yeah.
he really did dig deep into the history. But somewhere from I don't know if it was the early 1920s or something like that, somewhere between then and now, like you say, it's all about this shallow.
It got kidnapped.
Thank you.
Just like rap music.
Yeah.
Rap
Yeah.
music was about
yeah.
empowerment
Yes,
and cleaning up the
that's
streets,
right,
Cool and
that's
the
right.
Gang.
And
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere along the line.
And then it went from Cool and the Gang, you know what I mean,
that's
to
it.
it went to A Tribe Called Quest, and then
Yeah,
and then it
that's
went
it.
to Sticking Up Niggas.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Excuse my language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
this is the reality.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that is the reality of it. So for me, are we saying that Black History Month should be scrapped, or we say it should go back to what it was originally?
Me personally, I think it should be scrapped. I don't like it. I find it corny. If I'm just to wrap this up in a nutshell, I find it corny. No one else has it, and when it is shown, I mean, all it is just it's just about slavery. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
I get your point about no one else has it, because in a way you're right. There's not like a European History Month,
No.
Well, why?
To me, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go. It just sounds to me like we feel very guilty specifically about this group of people. History Month.
So we're gonna give them.
But this is the thing.
Minute.
Like, if you're celebrating a history, you should do more to embed it into the education of
That's
history
right. That's right.
forever.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. If you're accepting up until this point, you're right. We've actually just completely hidden slavery. We're kind of now opening up to what
Yeah,
it was,
yeah,
and we're
yeah,
accepting
yeah.
there were some damages and consequences.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, this is what it feels
Yeah.
like. This is what. Oh, right.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, we'll give this society a little time frame to celebrate themselves,
Yeah,
and then we'll
that's
just go
it.
back in your box.
Yeah.
Right. Now be quiet
Yeah.
again. We did celebrate you guys.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yes.
We've given you that. We've given you. It's a token gesture, isn't it? That's all it is.
That's it is.
It is tokenism, right? Because if you really wanted to empower, whether it's black society, the new generation, the younger generation of black kids growing up,
You would embed it into
You
the
would
teaching,
teach
into
them
the schools,
history
into the,
of-
exactly.
this is the thing, right? I don't recall anything other than World War One and World War Two, a bit of the Romans
Yeah.
being taught in history.
But that's all you were taught.
Like what-
to be
like-
fair.
And with me living in the Caribbean, all we taught is Christopher Columbus
Yeah.
and Sir Walter Raleigh,
Yeah.
Ralph
The Spanish
Abercrombie,
Armada.
Yeah.
you know what I mean, the
Yeah,
Spanish
Spanish
Armada,
Armada.
King Ferdinand,
Yeah.
Queen Isabella.
Yeah.
So I guess we've all been kind of.
Yeah.
But and this is my point. So, black history should not be slavery.
No.
That is not even.
No.
Don't get me wrong. That was essentially a massacre, right?
That's like a genocide. Yeah, that's a genocide,
It's
that's a Holocaust,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Which should never be forgotten.
No.
But that is not the fundamental
No.
part of
No.
celebrating
And
black
think,
history.
just
Yes,
think about this for a
agreed,
second,
agreed.
yeah? You and I
Yeah.
are from the West Indies.
Yeah.
Yeah? There's over, how much? I don't actually know, but there's over like 20% of America black. Brazil is like 30-something% black. Have you seen what slavery did to just the landscape of the world? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, these countries are now, they
true.
have a huge African population.
Yeah.
How did they
Yeah, yeah.
get there?
It's true.
That's the depth of the situation
Yeah.
in regards to slavery.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
slavery to take over
No, no,
the
no,
Black
no, no,
History
no,
Month
no,
thing.
no, no. But you're right. You're right.
So if we are going to talk about slavery, let's call it what it is. It was possibly the worst thing to ever happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is literally people getting transported across the Atlantic Ocean. When you really think
yeah.
about it,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From all different things that happened in
That's
history
right.
in the last 200 years. Is literally the whole. I mean, and the lands that they like Brazil, America. Let's think about it now. Prior to that, who was living there? Native
It's true.
Indians.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
They're
That's
gone.
it. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gone.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple in
Wiped
Brazil in the
out.
Amazon,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this, you know what I mean? When you really keep thinking about
Yes,
it, it's
this is the
really, really deep.
And that is why, all of that was traumatic, for the people, the generations that come after. And that's why bringing it back to the original point is we need to focus on the time before that.
But you see how good, sorry I get to cut you
Yeah,
off, but
yeah,
you
no,
see
no.
how good, like, how good the marketing is. For example, we started talking
yeah.
about Black History.
Yeah.
I am against it because I think no, we shouldn't really have that. But it even drew me into talking about slavery.
Yeah.
It has a way
Yeah,
of doing that,
it,
and I
doing
think
it,
what it
yeah.
is sort of like how it's actually presented. You know what I mean? How it's presented.
But my take on it is this: if you talk about a negative subject, you're suppressing celebration.
Yeah.
You mentioned 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
That made you feel sad and depressed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not the push of the film about the black scientists in the NASA, the female NASA scientists, right? That literally were part of the success of the Apollo 11, I think.
That's right. Yeah. Without them, it couldn't have happened. Yeah.
Right. How much airtime did that get in comparison
Compared to
12 Years
exactly.
a Slave? And then let's like switch the question round. Which one got the biggest amount of press? Which one was spoken about the most?
Well, it wasn't Hidden Figures, that's for sure. It's true. So
Yeah,
there you
see
go.
my-
Yeah, that's it. So it's true.
And I genuinely think that negativity breeds negativity.
100%.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you're not saying whatever the film was called, like Hidden Figures, right?
yeah.
Celebrates
Shout out to Raji P. Henderson.
the almanac of all.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, the almanac.
Shout out, Roger. But this is what I mean. So celebrating success
Yes.
and reinforcing the positive
That's
message
right.
has a benefit
Thank
to
you.
society. To those people that are watching it going, wow.
Wow.
Like, this is like bringing it back to fucking music. First of all, to music. But one of the things that I think the UK music scene has done quite well is that someone like Stormzy has used his platform to say, do you know what? There's not enough black kids in Oxford and Cambridge.
That's right.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put scholarship fund. I've got surplus cash.
Yeah,
You guys are good enough. I'll pay for your uni.
that's right.
To me,
Yeah.
that is the biggest gangster move
Yeah, 100.
anyone in the UK music
Yeah.
scene has done for their own society.
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
instead of
I
going,
completely
yeah
agree
man, I
with that.
shank man,
Yeah,
I boom man,
yeah, yeah,
you know, like I'm gonna go, you know, like
Yeah, that's
chop
it.
up man, I'll
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
chuck
yeah.
his body in the estate.
But-
and all this. What am I saying? I'm saying I am funding you
Yeah.
to go and study.
That's right.
You go be the next Tony
That's
Blair.
right. Yes. Yeah.
You go be the next Tony
And
Blair. You
need-
go be the
you need
next.
more-
you know,
more
go be
of
Boris
that.
Johnson. You
Yeah,
be someone in politics.
yeah,
Go to Oxford.
that's it.
Put a black person in government.
Exactly.
Don't go fucking.
Yeah.
Don't go like swearing and doing gang
Yeah,
signs on a
exactly,
TV
exactly.
screen.
He's actually funding people to go to the top tier establishments
you.
of
Thank you.
education.
to
Thank you.
break through.
You-
And this is the
exactly
thing.
that.
In
Like-
fields like science, math, things that I think, because let's be honest, it's all about SDE, sports,
Yeah.
drugs, and entertainment.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how
I
they've
completely
actually
Sex
agree.
sells.
raised.
I completely
Sex
agree.
sells.
Yeah.
They've raised black people to
Of
think
course,
that. Or,
with that mindset, and also to give, it's like when you said about, you know, negativity breeds negativity, and it's like, you know, these anonymous powers that be will say, give them just enough, but don't give them enough so that they realise and become empowered. We can't have that. We can't have that. Just give them these little 4 weeks, give them a little taste. It's okay. We're sorry. There you go, and then shut it down. There's a big fear.
We were talking about this earlier. That person who said, "Oh, you're very smart for a black guy." What's that telling you?
Yeah.
That's telling
Telling
you
you this is it.
there is he had
Yeah.
stereotyped.
Stereotyped.
He'd met one person who wasn't as intelligent as he thought, and then he presumed.
Blanketed everybody else
So-
with that brush.
And this is what society will do if you continue to go. Yeah, it's cool to be a rapper, right? It's cool to be a gangster. Don't get me wrong. I think actually, the number of successful young black sports stars in the UK is actually beneficial for the younger generation. Sorry. But it's far more difficult to be a
COVID, is
footballer.
it, bro?
I did the test before I came. But it's far more difficult to be a footballer than it is to go to Oxford or Cambridge.
Really?
Yeah, man.
statistically.
You study
yes.
hard enough, you get the results.
Yes.
You could apply to any university.
But
That's
football,
true.
you have that one window to
Yeah,
showcase.
it's true. Yeah, I
And-
see
like
what
an
you're saying.
agent.
Yeah, I see
And
what you're saying.
also the determination, the focus, your entire life and drive has to be on one thing. I want to be a footballer. You
That is
can't
true.
deviate from the goal.
No, they're right. You're right. When you put it like that, that's exactly right. So before we tie this off, final thoughts on. Well, I know what you're gonna say, Trini, on the Black History Month. But if I had to give you a final thought, what we saying about Black History Month? What are you saying?
You know what? Yeah, go and watch Morgan Freeman's take on Black History Month on YouTube. I think he will articulate it much better than I do. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a no from me. But what I would say is I do agree with Ramin.
Yeah.
If you are gonna if they're gonna push Black History Month and it's gonna be something that's established for the for the rest of our lifetimes, it should just be about positivity and empowerment.
In empowerment, yeah.
That is something that as time goes on, you will see far more benefit than slamming someone in the head and going, slavery. Look what you did. Yeah, exactly. Because you made a good point. The last time we were having a conversation about, was it history was written by the what? The
victors.
The victors.
There's smoke in the room.
You alright, man?
No, I think it's a smoke in the room.
It's like a COVID thing, man. So yeah, if it's going to be empowering and it's going to be positive, then there's some benefit to be had from it. But if we're just beating people over the head with
exactly.
with the
if
slavery,
you want to talk about Black history,
talk about Black
you
history.
Incorporate it into history.
Yes, that's right. Not the struggle, not the shared struggle, but let's talk about the history.
I could talk about this topic forever, but
All day long. All right, let's lock it off there.